Me, I'm Nathan, and you're you, and I'm glad you're here because you could be doing anything, anywhere, because that's time. Time's unreplenishable, so you could be watching like Vanderpump Rules or Below Deck Season 64, but instead you're here with me, watching me open up vinyls. And why am I doing that? I'll get to that, but I'm grateful for your time. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to everybody. We've shipped out so many of these vinyls. These are limited edition vinyls. I said way back when, I want a vinyl one day. And this record originally was released in 2007. Is called A Gentleman's Closure. It was featured in Starbucks Worldwide. This was what started it all for me. I've been singing since I was 8, voice lessons, piano lessons. I was signed and dropped in touring and not touring, and it was that helped me start in the funeral profession, allowed me the opportunity to meet people where they are, and I meet you where you are. Long story short, videos go viral on TikTok and social, and here we are. So I'm signing these limited edition vinyls because we're celebrating where it all started with A Gentleman's Closure. This is a remastered, this is in vinyl form, and I have been sending these out in droves to say thank you to the many of you, to the nearly 100 of you that have since bought in the last 30 days merchandise at nathanmorris.store. Look at that vinyl. Every purchase that you make tonight is a way to say thank you, because every relationship is transactional, right? It's a give and take usually, and I don't want this to be a one-sided relationship, and I want to say thank you by sending you this limited vinyl for free. Not only that, it's autographed. Not only that, every box that I ship out, I literally have drawn so many pictures. I never can get this in, by the way. So many pictures. And if you don't, I'm not even going to look in the comments right now because I know everyone makes fun of me. Grab you something in the store, Nathan Morris shop. Sure, it's that right there. Nathan Morris store. Let me know that you got something, and I'm going to send you a vinyl as a way to say thank you. And if I miss it during this live, please know that I will acknowledge you for sure. And also, I forgot I had tank tops right here, baby. Yeah, it's hot. It's summertime. You'll notice the colors. Look at these colors. Yeah, I'm 51% Irish. Pinch me, kiss me, I'm Irish. Head over to the store and check out some of our Canadian merch, too, to say thank you to our Canadian friends and family. All right. We're going to be talking a lot about community while I sign these or attempt to open this, and don't make fun of me. But I have figured out a lot of things, and it's taken a very long time for me. Thankfully, not my entire life, meaning I'm not 90 years old and just figuring it out. Let me know where you're tuning in from can you hear that, or is it still kind of compressed so you can't because it sounds really delicious? Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm grateful that you are here. Community, that's what it is all about. And for me specifically, right, I went to the funeral profession and continued to create, and the videos that went viral, it continued to go. It was this red pill, blue pill situation circumstance. There's this book by Stephen Pressfield that a friend of mine had told me to read. It was called The War of Art. Don't do the art of war. The art of war will take you to some sort of Chinese history of methodical war. We don't want to do that. I did that. The War of Art is by Stephen Pressfield. It's this idea in a nutshell, and he says it so much better than I. But the art of war states that there is this thing. There's a burning desire in us that has been imprinted on our hearts from the very beginning. When we are born, we have gifts, talents, traits. Obviously, you're told that you're so talented. But there are things that we are great at that others aren't, or that we are terrible at. And the thing that burns in your gut, it's the thing that you get so excited about. Perhaps it's metal detecting, which, by the way, is super intriguing. If you ever watch shows where they find coins from Civil War and all the other fun stuff. Whatever you're great at, that is the thing that you're great at and that you love more than anything. That's the thing you should be doing. That's the thing you should be doing. And sure, I know that we're in a day and age where the economy's a certain way, or we're so unsure about stuff, and you got to have a job to pay the bills, which I understand. But some of the best advice I was told one time was, hey, trust your gut, figure out the details later. Like, make the decision. And I have totally been, call me irrational, but I've been going live on other platforms. I'm like, hey, whatever you love to do that, quit your job, start it. And the caveat to that is what I mean is, if you absolutely don't do what you love, if you're not doing what you absolutely love, then you're doing the world a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice. The thing that is burning in your gut that's giving you heartburn, that thing will never go away. And so you can do the job that pays your bills, because maybe the thing that you love isn't going to immediately recoup. Maybe you are having to be an administrative assistant. Maybe you are having to work third shift somewhere. But if you love to knit sweaters, there is more time available outside of doing what you must to keep the lights on, to make sure your family's taken care of. You can still knit sweaters, because if you're saying to yourself, oh, I don't have enough time, that's the lie you tell yourself, which is my next thing that I've learned in the past week or two. And I'll get to that. And this isn't like a hoorah. This is just, I'm passing on what has been shared with me. This isn't my, profound aha moments. I've had some incredible people tell me some incredible things. And you kind of got to just get really honest with yourself. So I challenge you, if you're not doing what you absolutely love, not saying you're for your job, if you're an administrative assistant and you don't love that job, but you also don't do the thing that you love, do the thing that you love so you have something to be excited about. You're doing the world a disservice. The world needs you to show up. And so I say that because when all this went viral and everything happened, and top 20 at Billboard on AC radio, and I mean, amazing things have happened, really amazing things. I chose the thing that has been in my heart. If I'm not creating, then I don't feel alive. I chose that thing. And the funeral profession has offered me some of the some of the best gifts ever. And it's offered me this opportunity to realize the value of you, and to be able to sit with people during their most delicate of times, and to just be present. Sitting with people that I might not have, because to me, or you maybe have experienced this, where I don't have anything in common with them. Perhaps it's another ethnicity. Perhaps it's another religious organization or group. Perhaps it's someone down on their luck and they smell funny. And sitting with these individuals and them realizing that I'm there at first, before I really realized it, I'm there to conduct, myself in a way and complete a job and a task, right? But along the way, I realized I was connecting with people that I didn't think I would connect with. It helped me realize that people are all on the same playing field. It really was a beautiful thing. And it's inspired me since to be less judgmental, slower to anger, because let's be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we're very quick to assume and judge and see things the way that we want to. It's given me perspective instead of seeing the world through perception or perceiving eyes, because that's lazy as hell. And people said, oh, I won't even go there. But I love creating. I have to. It's what I've been put here to do. So I encourage you and challenge you. What's the thing that you love? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. That you love to do? It could be anything. I would be honored to know that. And these are things that I'm constantly learning and relearning. And our brains have lied to us for so long. We've been told, you go to school, you go to high school, you go to college, you have to have a 4-year degree. God forbid you have an associate's degree. I literally thought for the longest time I had an associate's degree, I would devalue myself. I'd be like, oh, just an associate's degree. Or if you don't go to college, you're a nobody. Or I'm not smart enough because I got C's in math and I had to work really hard, then I won't ever be good at math. I hear myself, even up to as recent as like a couple of weeks ago, being like, oh, I can't do that because I'm not smart at math. I'm not good at math. That's a lie that we've told ourselves. And so I can give you a scenario after scenario, but within my creative, whenever I'm creating. I'll give you another one. After I had sold and I was going through this whole transformation process, I'd relied on others to produce my songs. I have this incredible setup right now. I'm recording through all of this to you in a program. It's called Logic. And my computer, I didn't know how to do it. I never learned how to do it. I think I was smart enough to, but I just relied on someone else. But I remembered hearing myself say, oh, I haven't created, I haven't recorded, I haven't produced any vocal because I don't really know how to work Logic. I don't know about the universal audio plugins or how to create these vocal chains, or I guess I'll just have to figure it out some other time or wait for somebody. I just don't think my brain doesn't work that way. I told myself that lie so many times for like 3 months. And then one day I realized, you know what? Holy hell, like when are you going to, put your boots on and just do it? So I went to YouTube University and I figured it out. And slowly but surely, I remember, I'll never forget, I was changing the ins and the outputs and realized, oh my gosh, I figured this part out. And then I figured out the vocal chains, and then I figured out all this other stuff. And then I helped with Kayla, of course, Kayla Diamond's help. We built the show, and then running the show and taking my track rig and all the stuff for a live event that, again, I relied on other people. And I went and I was able to know the nuts and bolts of it. I think we tell ourselves these lies, and we actually, the book that I'm reading, I can't remember what it's called. I have my phone here. Let me find it. I'm not reading it, by the way. I'm actually listening to it. Because again, there's another one. I don't like to read. I can't sit still long enough. The Courage to Be Disliked. That book is a fantastic book. I encourage you to read it. But we tell ourselves these lies to the point where we have to live up to them, and I want to be mindful of that, and I encourage you to. Perhaps you're always terrible at talking with people or meeting people. Then you're going to always be terrible. And then you get into, there's so many different legs that this has, but that is where my brain is, and it takes me to this, wow, so a couple of months ago, I just had another aha moment. This is amazing. It's amazing. What's a lie that you tell yourself? And you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. You don't have to tell me that because, but think about what is one of the lies that you tell yourself, that you're not XYZ. And then reframe your brain, and it can change everything. So a couple of months ago, I was in a writing session with my friend Kayla Diamond. She's become an incredible friend to me, and social media can be a beautiful thing, which leads me to the fact that this song in particular, well, I'll get to that. Social media can be a beautiful thing, but it's also a terrible thing if people use it for, to belittle, to break down, to hurt. I don't know why my brain doesn't go there, but apparently a lot of people's do. And there's not a book for going viral on social media. I always knew that this is what I would do. I didn't know it would be this, like this. But I always knew that I'd be a creator. I always knew that I would release music and continue to do that. And I just didn't know what it looked like. So therefore, there's not really a book on what the hell has happened in the past, right at a year and a half. I mean, all of this going crazy with the change in my family, and, at a point where my mental health was shot, and then all this goodness is happening. And then, I've said it, and I'm going to say it again. What people don't know about you, they're going to make up untruths, half-truths. Just because it's on paper doesn't mean it's real. They told us forever that UFOs weren't real. And then during COVID, magically, there's just this subtle, oh, by the way, UFOs exist. Which, by the way, in one of my lives, this is so affirming, just all this stuff. Caught myself. So I recently, I'll tell you that story in a second too, but on a live recently, I was telling, hey, what people say about you, what people write about you doesn't mean it's real or true. And, there's been a lot of bullies out there, not just me, but you probably know a bully. Maybe you are the bully. In that case, stop. But we've all been bullied to some degree. And then just magnify that on a big scale with social media. But I was telling this story on a live, and this individual who retired from the military, she said, she was in the live and she was like, hey, I worked and my job in the 2000s was to slide into chat rooms and anybody and everybody that would say UFO stories or share a picture or personal experience, their job was to create accounts and to spread misinformation and to create stories. Oh, that was just a weather balloon, or she was a government, worked for the United States Army, but she was tasked with going into chat rooms and just getting people confused about it. Articles were written because of what she was writing. Oh, just weather balloons. But you've seen all of that. Oh, Area 51 doesn't exist in the 90s, and Area 51 doesn't exist until, up to recent. So what people don't know about you, what people say about you, should be none of your business. So all of this was happening, this greatness for me, the songs going top 20 at Billboard, and my world staying the size it was, maybe even from a personal standpoint getting smaller, but from a social media standpoint, just massive. And income, and for a time it hurt. And I would say, I want people to like me. 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 But that is, again, another lie that we tell ourselves. If people like us, then it's affirming to us. And if it's affirming to us, then it makes us a good person and all. So I got to a point recently, in April probably, where I just stopped giving a shit what people thought. Now, there were still moments, but people are going to say whatever they want. And you can get into these verbal altercations and try to defend your name and your likeness and all of this until you're black and blue in the face. But you can't reason with the unreasonable. You can't reason with someone who's going to think what they think. I mean, people will go in with their minds closed about certain topics, and, it's better to be thoughtful and say nothing than to speak and remove all doubt. So Kayla Diamond and I get together on this writing session. She's like, where are you at right now? What are you feeling? And writing, by the way, with someone is a very intimate, awesome thing because you're able to, it's like a therapy session, but instead of keeping what's discussed confidential, it's like, oh, okay, let's tell the story now. And I said, I don't give a shit if I'm somebody's villain. And then we were like, it was some version of that. And so we started to write what became the song Villain. And there's a lot of personal in there that's happened, but also it's open-ended enough for you to insert your scenario too. Villain is this idea that, you're going to be a villain to some people, you're going to be the superhero to others. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. So this has been a season of growth for me. And if you have not yet heard my new song Villain, please check it out. Share it with a friend. You do not even know what you're clicking one little button does. And I'll share that in just a second. But Villain has been so affirming for me because it's really connecting with people. So this song hasn't gone to radio. The other two last time yet went to radio. So it reached way more people, but the engagement I feel overall with Villain is far stronger, even though it's not as big from a numbers standpoint. But check it out if you haven't heard Villain yet. It's amazing, and I know it'll be able to connect with you. I'm hopeful it will for sure. I'm very confident it will connect with you. And thank you for streaming that. If you have, let me know that you have, and thank you. But what was I talking about? What did I say that I'll get to that for? Dang it. Squirrel. It was something. It was going to be important. Well, all of this has been important. I want you to stop lying about how you aren't good enough for this or that, or how you were raised this way, or you had a shitty upbringing. I mean, I've said those things, but it doesn't change anything. A recent episode of my podcast, episode 200 of my podcast, which I'm super blown away by the support there. I've met a man named Michael Hunter who has been so cool, and we were able to connect and chat about his season of, you'll have to listen to the podcast because it's his words, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he had an 18-month span, similar to, I feel like, a journey that I had been on of, just hitting the rock bottom and not being able to get up and finally realizing that, hey, whatever I think is the direction in which I'm going to be going. Our brains are wired to do what we tell it to do. So if we think, well, our brains, I didn't articulate that properly, but if I say that something is terrible, then something's going to be terrible. I bet it's going to be terrible. Or I bet it's going to be terrible, or I'm going to strike out, or then you're going to. So he talks about his 18-month experience, and then now what he's done personally to grow, but now what he does to help others and opening their eyes. And he opened my eyes. I want you to check it out. I'll link that too as well. Wherever you listen to podcasts, I would love for you to listen to You'll Die Trying. Which brings me to the thing. The thing. Hey, we all want to feel as if we're contributing to society. And I've talked about, my creating things and I want to be, I want to give of myself with my talents, right? And I hope that it connects with you. And I shouldn't rely on it connecting with you or hearing about it for me to continue to do it, if that makes sense. But the point I'm really wanting to drive tonight is I can release podcasts, You'll Die Trying, 200 more episodes. I can release another hit song. I can get another 1 million followers. But after the music, after the content comes out, the videos, these lives, and there's not a relationship or a connection of sorts, then this is literally, what's it for? Community. I've said it. And I meant it, but I really get it to the point where I have started an exclusive community called the Triers. So community is after the songs come out, if you don't have the relationship, then what do you have? One day I'm going to get old and wrinkly and I'm not going to be able to hit that high note. I'll be Bon Jovi just did a documentary where he was talking about that. I think it was on Hulu, and he was like, I wish I would have thought about my voice in 30 years. I had to write all these really high songs, but high notes on songs. So I believe that if after these releases are out and after, there's a downtime, what do you have? Well, so I have this group we have together called the Triers, which I would be honored for you to join. I have 1 month free. It's on me. 1 month free on me. And it's exclusive, unreleased musical drops or drops of songs that aren't yet released, maybe will never release. I released on Monday a song called Laundry Room. It's not done yet. The version of it is for our Triers. And Wednesdays we do unreleased or exclusive videos where I either share a story of a song or what's going on, more behind the scenes stuff, just very candid, get into the heart of, what's going on behind this camera and all around me. And then on Fridays are exclusive giveaways, like all of my brand new merch, which we've dropped a bunch of new merch at the store, which I mentioned at the beginning, but it's an opportunity for me and you to connect in a way that's very different. And I would like to think is lasting. So I would love for you to become a Trier. And what's a Trier? And, well, I almost gave something away, but that's going to go for just the Triers only first. All exclusive updates and news. I'll be on tour this fall. And when I tour, I'll be releasing the dates to the Triers. But the Triers, the name Trier, it's not a defeatist name. It's actually the opposite. So every day we try to be better than we were the day before. I would like to think that we want to outdo ourselves, and we're always going to be chasing this perfection. I think realizing that we'll never perfect anything, but as long as our guiding light continues to be better versions of ourselves, we're going to die trying. Triers. That's the name. That's the meaning behind the name, and the community in which we're building is something incredible. And I have so much to be thankful for and grateful for. And I want to say thank you for even considering that. But the first month is on me. You have nothing to lose. Click the link. It's a unique link. Get into the world of where we do discussions and topics and introduce yourself and share ghost stories, and it's just really fun, and it's a way that we build community. I need you on that, and I would appreciate you considering joining. But this has been unlike anything I've ever experienced. I don't think months ago, whenever the song went to radio and was doing so well, the place I was in my head, which if I sit and I could beat myself up, but why? I wasn't in a place to even recognize it. Now I see it and I appreciate it after it's happened, which is really cool. Meaning, I don't know why in that moment I couldn't, but I wasn't equipped. But now I am, which this moment right now, like these words, this is the present. This is all we have. The past doesn't even exist anymore. The future doesn't exist yet. So it may never. And these scenarios that we create in our heads, and I have been horrible up until relatively recent. Just well, I was brought up in trauma, or I was abused, or I was emotionally, physically, sexually. I'm not downplaying anything that may or may not have happened to me or you, but that narrative isn't now. Like, this is the opportunity right here. And tomorrow, if you have an interview, you could create 26 different scenarios of, well, what if Joe asks me this? Well, what if? What if? You just don't know. This moment is all there is. I think you can rewrite anything you want, and it could be whatever you want it to be. And I hope that you write something beautiful, because you deserve every opportunity for that. But I didn't intend for this to sound like some sort of therapeutic or hoorah, hoorah, but I'm in a really good spot, and it feels really good. And I am proud of the work that I've done, and I'm grateful to meet you here. And I just thank you for listening, and I hope that you can maybe take away just one little nugget, because information, things that you feel to be a blessing to you, it would be selfish of me to not share that, pass that on. And so I wanted to do that, give you an update on what's going on. So there's a very long-winded way of saying that community matters, and that you have something to bring to a community, and I having my own now, the Triers. Please consider, please join us, give us a chance. If you don't love it, that's great, no problem, but you're supporting me. But the first month is on me. If you get anything in the merch store, the official merch store, I will send you a vinyl autographed while supplies last. I'm not sure how many we have left. I think there are about 25 right here, but we're almost to a place where I can say we're sold out. There's been a lot of really incredible support. Stream the music, share, follow me on all the socials, because the algorithm, it's a real thing. And I know that sounds weird, but whenever you play my song or share my song or follow or engage, you're telling that platform, I like this guy. And that's what I was going to say way back when I was like, I don't remember. We don't realize how simple little acts affect positively or negatively. You could apply it to anything really, but specifically to clicking like or share or streaming a song. You don't realize what that one little click heart does. And to say that it's not appreciated, if you told yourself that, that's a big old fat lie. It is. It really is. And though the thousands of comments and messages and hearts and DMs and all of that I get, I am saying as a whole, I recognize you and appreciate you, because you are genuinely taking what I am doing and just giving me this little baby pat on the butt and helping me propel. And that is also the community, the Trier community. Your joining is saying, I really believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. And I want, as a way to be transactional in this, to show you my appreciation in return. And that's, again, that's the community for you. So wherever you are right in this moment, if it's a podcast that I meet you, You'll Die Trying, or if it's one of the socials, I'll link them all. You'll be able to hopefully see how much I believe in what it is that I'm doing, and I hope that you believe in what you're doing. And if you hate where you are in life, you can genuinely change it. You don't have to say, "Oh well, I'm not educated," or "Oh well, I'm poor," or "Oh well, my car sucks." Yeah, it might, or you might be, but it doesn't have to be that way. You remember the movie Hitch when Kevin James' character goes, "Yeah, I quit." One of my favorite parts. It's so just like arbitrary. What? What? All right, I'm out of here. I am gonna be over at the Triers, so join me. Let me know in the comments. If I've missed it, I'll get back to you. You're loved far more than you could ever know, and you're worth it. And this world needs you to show up. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Grab you some merch, get you a shirt, get you a hoodie, and I'll send this to you as a way to say thank you at no additional cost. Stream the music. And a partridge in a pear tree. Me, 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 me. See ya.